Attention in the barn. Show Class 1, senior showmanship needs to be making their way to the show ring at this time. This class is, the exhibitors are AJ Cunningham, Tegan Tisland, Carla Evans, Emma Brandenburg, Reed Etling, Rowdy Etling, Stacy Arthur, and Elizabeth Hauserman. Entering the arena at this time is senior showmanship. These exhibitors are Katie Wolfer, AJ Cunningham, Tegan Tisland, Carla Evans, Emma Brandenburg, Reed Etling, Rowdy Etling, Stacy Arthur, and Elizabeth Hauserman. Judge, this is your class. I'd like to introduce our judge today, Drew Boss. Drew Boss is from Dessler, Ohio, where he owns and operates Black Swamp Boars. They maintain 50 does to raise show wethers and commercial does to show on the county, state, and national level. He also helps manage the show and sale cattle for his family's club calf operation, Souter Farms. He is a current alumni advisor for the AGR Holiday Classic Cattle Show and formerly was a member of the director committee for the Ohio Cattlemen's Best Series and Ohio Beef Expo. He is a 2018 graduate of The Ohio State University, where he majored in agribusiness and applied economics and competed on the livestock judging team. Give a round of applause to our judge, Drew Boss. Beginner showmanship class should be getting ready in the barn. These exhibitors are Lorelei Cunningham, Jennifer Sullivan, Kylie Neal, Cy Berwanger, and Benjamin Florence.
We're going to keep these 5 individuals here to continue to work and analyze them. I think they all do an excellent job of kind of what I'm looking for today, keeping feet and legs square, giving me an excellent look from the profile, as well as being super aware of where I'm at in the ring. Some things on down the line, just being able to keep our lambs' feet and legs square underneath us, keep an appropriate headset out of the top side of their neck there, and just getting some cooperative dance partners here like the young lady out here rounding out this one. Let's give them all a nice round of applause. We're going to work through these 5 seniors here for a top 5. Really excellent group of showmen here. I think for me, the duo up top are kind of a head above the rest in terms of the quality in which their lamb looks from the profile. I think they do the best job of getting their lamb set up and presented and carrying their head at an appropriate angle out of the top of their shoulder. I think we could definitely split some hairs with these. Maybe young lady up front, we get those two hind legs off ever so slightly. Young lady up front here, I wish we had just a little bit more pace as we got around the ring there. We showed that lamb's soundness off. We could get that one moving ever so slightly quicker. But two really nice showmen up there. Kind of the breaker there is just how the young lady handles the head of that one on the move. Really nice top pair of them. Young man here in 3 does a really good job of getting that lamb presented to us from the profile. You like how square that one's feet are underneath him. You like the way he handles that one's head as that one's standing still. Super calm and collected kind of a showman. I think for me, maybe more intensity around the head of the animal. When I walk around front of that animal, I need you to switch sides from me. Just show me that opposite side of that lamb and present that one maybe a little bit more open to me as well. But a really nice one in 3rd, I think does so fairly logically as well. Difficult cut between between 4 and 5 here, in my opinion. I think the young man in 4th does a better job of being more consistent on the profile. I think does a better job leading that lamb around as well. I think for me, when we get on top and handle that one, I need to feel a harder brace and harder touch to that one as compared to the ones in front of you. I think of this remaining duo, though. You do the best job of keeping that one presented. You're extremely calm and collected and smooth. Really like the way you operate around that animal. Young lady rounded out this one, I think ran into a tough division ahead of her there. Definitely has some pieces to work with here. I think for me, if we could straighten this one's neck up and give a more attractive look from the profile, I think that one would do you a lot of good. And similar to the young man in front of you, just need a harder touch down his top line to compete with those ones in front of you. But you do a really excellent job of getting that lamb's feet and legs square and presented an excellent profile to us. Let's give them all a nice hand, a really good group of showmen to start this show.
Congratulations, class winner Emma Brandenburg. 2nd place, Katie Wolfer. 3rd place, Tegan Tisland. 4th place, Rowdy Etling. 5th place, Carla Evans. Entering the arena at this time is intermediate showmanship. These exhibitors are Cruz Cunningham, Silas Cunningham, Josie Benjamin, Ava Korsmeyer, and Joshua Florence, and Tyler Kilburn. Judge, this is your class. Beginner showmanship needs to be making their way outside of the show arena at this time. These exhibitors are Lorelai Cunningham, Jennifer Sullivan, Kylie Neal, and Benjamin Florence. Please be making your way outside of the show arena at this time. Top 2 senior showmen, Emma Brandenburg and Katie Wolfer, need to be getting ready in the barn at this time.
Another really excellent group of showmen and a really competitive top pair up top. I think young man in the purple here isn't showing the fanciest slam out here, but I think he definitely gets the most out of this one in terms of look, in terms of presence, and just the way he gets those feet and legs set up underneath it. He knows exactly how to get that lamb presented to us and level topped and getting that head at an appropriate angle out of its shoulder there. I appreciate his presence in the ring and his posture as well. His calmness while still being slightly intense is kind of what I'm looking for out here today. Really good, really consistent, really fault-free showman to lead off this class. Young lady, I think if we're going to make a comment, it's probably you the highest ceiling out here, but you also have the lowest floor of you top two. I think at times we got those feet and legs just off there, especially on that last look where we got those feet and legs off. I think the young man in front of you was slightly more consistent. I think at your high moments, though, you have higher highs than the young man that wins this class. Keep going, keep being competitive, get that lamb to cooperate with you. I think you two will be an awfully entertaining pair to watch on down the road. Really competitive from in between third and fourth here, and I think the longer we evaluated this class, the young lady seemed to surface just in terms of being more consistent, more appropriate in a market lamb class. I appreciate the extra brace you have as compared to the young man there. I appreciate the harder touch as compared to the young man in fourth. I think at times to compete with those ones in front of us, we get that lamb either too bunched up or that top line just pushing up out of its skeleton too much, and I think it doesn't want to lead and cooperate with you like the two people in front of you there. But you do a really excellent job. I appreciate your posture as a whole. I like the way you're stanced up and how you kind of carry the head of that lamb. Just keep working on getting that one to cooperate with you, and you'll be a really successful showman on down the road. Young man, I think you do an excellent job of staying calm and composed. I appreciate your presence and eye contact and really understanding where I'm at in the ring. I think along with that, though, maybe check a glance down to the hind legs of that lamb every now and then. Make sure they're square and set underneath that one. And I think we need to work on getting a harder brace and touch to that one when I get on top of that one as well. We do a really good job. I appreciate your presence and your slow approach to showing these lambs here. Really nice showman there. The two young men rounding out our fifth and our sixth place here, I think they both do an excellent job. They're both extremely similar in how they present their lambs. Maybe don't have quite the most cooperative ones of this class either. I think for me, the young man in fifth here does a better job of getting a harder touch, of getting a more consistent look and a square base out of that lamb as we work on through this class here. But two really good showmen to round out this class. Let's give them both a nice round of applause as well as the four ahead of them.
Congratulations, class winner Tyler Kilburn. Second place, Ava Korsmeyer. Third place, Josie Benjamin. Fourth place, Cruz Cunningham. And fifth place, Silas Cunningham. Entering the arena at this time is beginner showmanship. These exhibitors are Lorelei Cunningham, Jennifer Sullivan, Kylie Neal, and Benjamin Florence. Judge, this is your class. Top two exhibitors in senior showmanship and intermediate showmanship need to be making their way outside the show arena at this time. These exhibitors are Emma Brandenburg, Katie Wolfer, Tyler Kilburn, and Ava Korsmeyer.
Really nice group of them here, and a lot of quality in a smaller class here. I think leading off this class with the young man, I think doing the best job of getting his lamb presented and keeping that thing standing still and keeping some feet square underneath it. I think there's some little things we could change, especially compared to our second place one. When we step in front of that lamb on the profile, I want to see you step off to the side of that one, show off the chest floor and show off the elevation of that one's front end there. But you do an excellent job of doing the basics, keeping the feet square, giving me a nice look from the profile there, and I think you do the best job on the lead of handling that lamb as compared to everyone else. Really logical place to start for me, in my opinion. Young lady in second here, I think did a good job of working her way up kind of through the pack here. I think maybe led off with a little bit more difficult to handle lamb as she came into the ring, but as time went on, I think she did a better job of keeping that lamb square, keeping a nice hard touchdown its top line. And I think for me, she was the only one of the four of these guys on the side view there that stepped off, gave me that front view. I think she knows what to do. We just got to get that lamb to cooperate with you a little bit more, okay? Really excellent showman there in second. Awfully competitive between 2 and 3, and the young lady with the natural here, I think, does a really good job of having some ring presence, of leading that lamb around. I think you do the best job of everyone outside of our class winner in leading your lamb around. That one wanted to fight you just a little bit when we got on top and handled that one, and when we got that one off to the side here, that one wanted to just fight you a little too much for me to get above the young lady in front of you. But a really good showman there. I like how you got the feet set up there. We got to make sure we keep it consistent, though, okay? Really excellent job for third. Young lady rounding out the class, just ran into an extremely tough class. I think you do an excellent job of keeping the feet and legs presented to us. You do a good job of keeping that lamb's head high. You got a really long-bodied lamb, and you like to show that off, and that's a good thing, okay? At times we get those feet and legs a little unsquare. We need to just square those front legs up. We got to get that head just a little bit up, and we got to set the head of that lamb right in the hip pocket of your body, okay? That'll help you out on down the road. But a lot of bright futures out here. Let's give all those exhibitors a nice round of applause. Really good group of them top to bottom.
Congratulations, class winner Benjamin Florence, second place Lorelei Cunningham, third place Kylie Neal, and fourth place Jennifer Sullivan. Entering the ring at this time is your overall showmanship class. These exhibitors are Emma Brandenburg, Katie Wolfer, Tyler Kilburn, Ava Korsmeyer, Benjamin Florence, and Lorelei Cunningham. Pee-wee showmanship needs to be making their way outside the ring at this time. These exhibitors are Colton Shepard, Scarlett Fetters, Stella Fetters, Ellie Earlhart, Piper Standering, and Taylor Perrin.
Ringside, let's put our hands together for a really nice group of showmen as a whole. I think despite the differences in ages, I think they're all definitely worthy of being out here and worthy of being selected as your champion overall showman. I think it gets awfully competitive between a few of them here, and I'm glad we did some sorting in the individual age groups because it'd be awfully difficult out here to definitely pick 2 or 3 of them to go on and represent your GOAT department. I think for me, just some basics that we like to fall back on, some square feet, some hard touches like we've been hammering on all day. And personally, I'm not much of a questions guy. I firmly believe in the quality of, I firmly believe in the idea of skill-a-thon and everything that comes with that. And for me, I think once we get on the head of a lamb, I think it's just a matter of getting that thing presented and showing it to the best of your ability and understanding the differences and changes you need to make for each individual animal that you're showing or on the head of, because none of them are the same. I think some of them have some differences in structure that we need to show out of them. Maybe some of them handle slightly differently than other lambs, and I think it's awfully important when you get on top and really get these things presented to show them to the best of your ability and show them to the best of your animal's ability as well. With that being said, I think there's 2 of them that pair up extremely nicely. We talked them awfully close in class, and I think they do the best job of, again, sticking with it, keeping a hard touch and handle to them. With that being said, we're going to keep the 2 seniors together. Young lady out of the first class will be your champion. The other reserve senior will be your reserve champion. Let's give them a nice hand.
Congratulations to your grand champion showman, Emma Brandenburg, and your reserve champion showman, Katie Wolfer. Katie Wolfer will represent lambs for Showman of Showmen. Entering the ring at this time is Pee Wee Showmanship. Taylor Perrin and Piper Standering need to be making their way to the show arena at this time. Adult showmanship needs to be making their way outside the arena at this time. Adult lamb showmanship needs to be making their way outside the arena at this time. These exhibitors are Brad Bunting, Tate Tisland, Lucy Whitmer, Alex Cunningham, Jake Korsmeyer, and McKenna Holden.
Let's give these Pee-wees a nice round of applause. A really good group of them as a whole. What I like to do for Pee-wee showmanship's maybe a little bit different, but I like all the kids to turn around and find their parents and start waving at them so you get a nice picture to have something embarrassing on down the road to look back at and maybe post at a grad party or something along those lines, 30th birthday, something like that. Everyone waving, find your parents. There you go. Get a good wave, get a good picture. Let's give them all a nice one big round of applause. They're a really excellent group of them as they make their way out of the ring.
Congratulations, Pee Wee Showman. Brad Bunting, please be making your way outside the show arena for adult showmanship. Entering the arena at this time is adult showmanship. Judge, this is your class. Class 1 of breeding ewes needs to be getting ready in the barn at this time. These exhibitors are Reed Etling, Lorelei Cunningham, Josie Benjamin, Kylie Neal, Cruz Cunningham, AJ Cunningham, Silas Cunningham, Tyler Kilburn, Cruz Cunningham, and Rowdy Etling. Please be getting ready in the barn.
Really nice group of adult showmen, and to be frank with you, this absolutely terrifies me. I don't ever want the kids that show for me to figure out that they're better than me at showing, and this would absolutely shake me to my core. Compliments to you guys for getting out here and kind of staying competitive and staying with it. Young man up front here just does the best job of staying consistent, keeping feet and legs square. Appreciate the posture in this one. Appreciate the hard touch down its top line. I think for me, consistently is more square and underneath itself. I think does a better job of keeping that lamb corralled and contained and squared away and set up. Really nice showman to lead off. Young lady in second does a really tremendous job of body posture and keeping things presented and set up correctly. I think for me, when we get the handle down the top of that one, skeleton wants to get a little softer to the touch there for the young lady, but that's splitting hairs at the top end. I'm sure it'll create some drama back there in the backside of the barn there. Compliments to him. Young man in third here, I think he thinks I did him a favor, but he did an excellent job as a whole. Have a little bit more self-confidence in yourself, young man. You do an excellent job getting them things shown. Compliments to you. Thank you for bringing that out. Young lady rounding out the class just has a really uncooperative lamb there to start here. Just got to get that one to cooperate with you a little bit more there, but a really nice class top to bottom. Let's give all those adult exhibitors a nice round of applause.
Congratulations to your champion adult showman, Tate Tisland. Entering the arena at this time is Class 1 of breeding ewes. These exhibitors are Reed Etling, Lorelei Cunningham, Josie Benjamin, Kylie Neal, Cruz Cunningham, AJ Cunningham, Silas Cunningham, Tyler Kilburn, Cruz Cunningham, and Rowdy Etling. Judge, this is your class. Class 2 of breeding ewes needs to be making their way outside the show arena at this time. These exhibitors are Tegan Tisland. There will be no breaks at the conclusion of the breeding ewe show, so Class 1 market lambs needs to be getting ready in the barn at this time. These exhibitors are Leah Riley and Lorelei Cunningham.
Admittedly, a slightly more challenging classes compared to our showmanship in a really interesting way, with a lot of talking points to lead off our breeding show here. I think for me, we'll lead off with the young man's ewe up front here. That is the longest sided one. That's the most expressive and muscular down its top line. I think shows with the most capacity and genuine turn to its rib cage. I think for me is probably also the most functional as that one gets out on the move. I think from a standstill, we could tie that one's hip into its loin slightly better, and I think some of that is that one wanting to give up just a little bit on the brace after being out here for a couple classes. But I really appreciate the build and the femininity of this one. I appreciate the clean chest for, and again, just that natural and maternal mass that one has through the center portion of its body. Really nice and logical place to lead off this class, in my opinion. Kind of difficult in two differing styles here for me in second and third. I think from the outside, the package they're wrapped in is somewhat similar. I think for me, where we kind of fault both of them is just in that front end. I think as compared to our class winner, this one that leads off this pair is straighter fronted as compared to our class winner. Maybe not quite as functional and correct out of its hind two as compared to our class winner. But for me, that's a big bodied one. That's got a tremendous set to its rib cage. That one's got a nice swoop to its body. Really deep-sided and long-bodied and just big outlined one in second place here. But again, we need to maybe lean that one up as compared to our class winner as well. Not quite as powerful down its top line, and a lot of that comes with that one's hide color as well. But it's a really nice one, really good patterned one, really attractive profiling one in there in second. Kind of the powerhouse of this second and third here. I think this third place one is tremendously expressive down its top line. I think that one reads with some dimension and some expressiveness out of its rack and into its loin edge there. I think that one's got a big old pin set in it. You see how expressive that one is through the hind portion of its leg there. For me, when we get this one on the profile, once it get a little uncoordinated in its hip structure, we maybe need to lower that one in its dock and maybe just smooth that one out from its pin set into its loin there. But that's a really nice one there in terms of power, in terms of muscularity, in terms of genuine base width. I think that one will create some power ones on down the road for this young man. Really nice job getting that one shown as well. Really complete one here in fourth. I think one that's just somewhat fault-free in terms of its overall design. I don't know if this one's the best of anything, though, as compared to the ones in front of it. It's also not the worst. I think this one is structurally acceptable. I think this one is really nice in its lower angles and the way that one ties from its foot and into its pastern there. You like the flexibility. You like the athleticism. I like how elevated this one is through its front 1/3. I like the head shape and chest floor in this one. I think for me, we need to tighten this one up in its hide. That one maybe wants to get a little softer in its touch as compared to the ones in front of it. But I think of the remaining, this one is the biggest topped one. This one is the biggest racked one, 4 through 7 here as we analyze these ones. Young man does a good job getting that one shown as well. Big outlined one rounding out the top 5. I think one that's extremely athletic in its angles, one that's really feminine through its front 1/3 as well. I think for me the problem from this 3/4 view here and when we step in front of this animal, not quite as opened up in its chest floor. I think that one needs to be stoutened up as a whole. If we could blow that one apart in its rib cage, we could blow that one apart in its shoulder structure, just open that one up ever so slightly. I think that'd be an awfully competitive lamb for you, young man. I definitely have some breeding pieces with that one on down the road. Compliments to you for a really nice one around out the top 5. On down the line, I think we have a few of them, just some structure things we need to clean up. As we analyze that top line on the move, these ones want to just push their loin and their spine just out of the top side of their skeleton. If we could just relax each of these, I think there's some power, some flexibility, and some expressiveness in these guys. In terms of their muscle pattern, we just got to relax their top lines. And I think as we work our way down, we just got to progressively stouten these things up. We got to get them slightly more conditioned, and honestly, more days on feed would do these guys a lot of good. Compliments to you, a really nice group of them top to bottom. Let's give them all a nice big round of applause. A really excellent group of breeding sheep.
Congratulations to your class winner, Tyler Kilburn. Second place, Reed Etling. Third place, Rowdy Etling. Fourth place, Silas Cunningham. Fifth place, AJ Cunningham. Entering the arena at this time is Class 2 of breeding ewes. These exhibitors are Tegan Tisland. Judge, this is your class.
Outside the show arena, Class 1 market lambs.
Class 1 market lambs need to be making their way outside the show arena at this time. These exhibitors are Leah Riley and Lorelei Cunningham. You will have 1 hour after the conclusion of the market show to consign your lambs to the sale. You can do so now. The sale trailer is open. Thank you.
Really nice single entry here for the young man as he walks this one around the ring. You appreciate the flexibility in this one. You appreciate the lower angles and the joint structure of this one, as well as the athleticism. And I think it pairs nicely with the amount of capacity this one has. Big middle, deep-sided one. I think from a maternal perspective, this one checks all the boxes you want in terms of being able to carry twins or even triplets in that big center mass there. Certainly one I think could use some competition. Let's give him a nice round of applause. We'll see this one back in the female drive.
Congratulations to your class winner, Tegan Tisland. Entering the arena at this time is the overall breeding U drive. These exhibitors are Tyler Kilburn, Reed Etling, and Tegan Tisland. Judge, this is your class. Class 2 market lambs needs to be making their way outside the arena at this time. These exhibitors are Benjamin Florence, Silas Cunningham, and AJ Cunningham. Class 3 market lambs needs to be getting ready in the barn at this time. These exhibitors are Joshua Florence, Caitlin Wolfer, and Cruz Cunningham.
Well, really excellent set of ewe lambs out here, and we mentioned the young man on the second class could use some competition, and I think he certainly got some. I think comparatively between the two, obviously looking at two different breeds and two different styles of lambs, and I think there's definitely some compare and contrast between this trio. I think there's one maybe outlier in terms of power, in terms of muscle, and then it gets awfully competitive, in my opinion, for reserve. And I think from that perspective, we just somewhat boil it down to structure, femininity, and still being maybe fresher and carrying less condition. For me, it gets awfully difficult for reserve, like I mentioned. But with that, I think we're going to stick with our Class 1 will be your Grandin Reserve. Let's give them a nice round of applause. Really excellent group of lambs.
Congratulations to your grand champion breeding you, Tyler Kilburn, Reserve Reed Etling. Entering the arena at this time is Class 1 market lambs. These exhibitors are Leah Riley and Lorelai Cunningham. Judge, this is your class. Class 3 needs to be making your way outside the show arena at this time. Class 2 needs to be making your way outside the show arena at this time. These exhibitors are Benjamin Florence, Silas Cunningham, and AJ Cunningham. Class 3 market lambs needs to be making your way outside the show arena at this time. These exhibitors are Joshua Florence, Caitlin Wolfer, and Cruz Cunningham. Class 4 market lambs needs to be getting ready in the barn. These exhibitors are Elizabeth Hauserman, Ava Korsmeyer, Reed Etling, and Jennifer Sullivan.
Really nice pair to lead off this Marcus show. I think for me, the young lady up front with the bluer hided natural up here is the one that handles with more expressiveness and power down his top line, especially when we get to the edge. That one's loin edge there. When we work from last strip backwards, that one is wider. That one's more powerful down through its loin and into its hind saddle there. I think one that's maybe deeper sided, one that's more genuine in terms of its width and power and expressiveness as well. Really nice one to lead off this class. Young ladies in second here is probably more fluid on the move. I think is more correct in terms of the way its spine lays into its skeleton. I think one that's maybe more extended in terms of the angle of its rear leg and its hock. I think for me, though, the real killer in this one is when we get on top of that one and handle it. Doesn't match up with the added expressiveness and freshness of our class winner. Really nice one there in second, though. Compliments to these two young people. Let's give them a nice round of applause as they exit the ring.
Entering the ring at this time is Class 2 Market Lambs. These exhibitors are Benjamin Flores, Silas Cunningham, and AJ Cunningham. Congratulations, Class 1 winner, Lorelai Cunningham. Second place, Leah Riley. Class 5 Market Lambs needs to be getting ready in the barn at this time. These exhibitors are Stacy Arthur, Tegan Tisland, Rowdy Etling, and Caitlin Wolfer. Class 4 Market Lambs needs to be making their way outside the arena at this time. These exhibitors are Elizabeth Hauserman, Ava Korsmeyer, Reed Etling, and Jennifer Sullivan.
Another nice top pair to lead off this class. I think, again, another competitive pair of them here that exemplify some differences just in terms of structure, in terms of muscle pattern and texture. And I think, for me, the more appropriate one will be the young man's that leads off the class. I think more expressive down its top line. You see that added shapeliness down its top line. You see the added width of that one's loin. And I think for me, the deal breaker there as compared to our second place one is how much more powerful that one is into its rear quarter, how much more power it carries into the lower portion of its twist, and how much more expansive that one is in terms of its width of stifle and how powerful that one is skeletally. I don't know if this one's perfect in terms of its structure, and that's where we give the nod to the young man's in second place here. really complete one from a profile perspective, really up-headed, really long-bodied, really nice pattern one here. I appreciate this one's angle of its hip. I think that one is maybe more appropriate in terms of how its top line ties together. I like the width of rib on this one. I think that one is tremendously powerful from its shoulder into its forerib. I like how uniform that one is from a 3/4. I think for me, when we get on top and handle this one, not quite as powerful in its loin edge there, not quite as deep in the angle of that, not quite as deep in the shelf of that one's loin either. And I think for me, as we compare these two side by side, just visually, that one's not as powerful on the outside of its leg. That one might carry more width down to the lower portion of the upper portion of its hock, I guess, and the lower portion of its quarter. But for me, he's not expressive enough in terms of that rear quarter. I think that one just needs to be stoutened up just a little bit in terms of genuine muscle shape to compete with that one in front of it there as well. But a really nice, attractive one to look at from the profile. Young man's doing a good job getting that one shown to us as well. Another high-end showman here in third. I think he's doing a good job, similar to the one in front of it, a long-bodied one that's extremely elevated through its front 1/3. I like the way that one's shoulder and neck all tied together. I like the flexibility of that one's rear leg and how that one carries some soundness and functionality into the lower angles of its body. I think for me, when we get behind this one and analyze it and we get on top and handle this one, there's just not enough of this lamb, not as expressive in its muscle pattern. But boy, that's an awfully cool one to look at from the profile. Be interesting to see this guy in 30, 40 days if he chooses to keep this one and keep that one running on some feed. Compliments to him. Let's give them all a nice round of applause. A really good group of showmen.
Congratulations, class winner AJ Cunningham, second place Silas Cunningham, and third place Benjamin Florence. Entering the arena at this time is Class 3 of Market Lambs. These exhibitors are Joshua Florence, Caitlin Wolfer, and Cruz Cunningham. Judge, this is your class. Class 4 Market Lambs should be making their way outside the show arena at this time. These exhibitors are Elizabeth Hauserman, Ava Korsmeyer, Reed Etling, and Jennifer Sullivan. Class 5 Market Lambs should be getting ready in the barn. These exhibitors are Stacy Arthur, Tegan Tisland, Rowdy Etling, and Caitlin Wolfer.
Somewhat logical way to lead off this class here. I think for me, the young ladies lamb wins this class fairly handily. A really attractive one from the profile, one that stands on a tremendous amount of foot and bone. I think is the most expressive in terms of its muscle pattern, is the widest down its top line, and I think carries the most genuine power into the lower portion of its quarter. I think for me, that's just a really easy, fault-free, logical way to lead off this class, and does so fairly handily in my opinion. Young man's lamb here coming in second is a tremendously long-bodied one. You appreciate the outline on this one. You appreciate how green and fresh that one is to the touch. I think for me, that one wants to narrow up in its top line a little bit. Maybe wants to get a little uncoordinated through its front 1/3. I don't know if that one's as opened up in terms of its forerib, in terms of its shoulder, but boy, that thing is tremendously green and powerful and fresh. I think on its own, this one carries a lot of power and width through the rear portion of its body as well. But for me, just not enough structural correctness to get above that one in front of it. Not enough power along its top line to compete with that class winner as well. But that's an awfully nice carcass lamb for the young man. Compliments to him for a really nice one here in second. Young man rounding out this class has one that's extremely sound and flexible and functional as that one gets around the ring. I like the set to that one's pastor, and I like the set to that one's hock. I think that one's really coordinated and attractive through its front 1/3. I think for me, when we get on top of this one, it has some width down its top line, but for me, once it just soften up to the touch, I think we could freshen this one up, maybe getting that one to harden up and get slightly more expressive down its top line. We could get that one to just power up and mass up down its top line as well to compete with those ones in front of it. But a really structurally correct, really complete one there for the young man. Good job picking out a sound one there and bringing it to me. Thank you for that. Let's give them a nice round of applause. Really good group of them.
Congratulations, who won the class winner, Caitlin Wolfer. Second place, Joshua Florence. Third place, Cruz Cunningham. Entering the ring at this time is Class 4 Market Lambs. These exhibitors are Elizabeth Hauserman, Ava Korsmeyer, Reed Etling, and Jennifer Sullivan. Judge, this is your class. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Southern Ohio Equipment Services, Scarlett and Stella Fetters, Howerton Construction, in memory of Regina Howerton, Cherry Fork Feed and Supply, and Wolfer Farms Feed and Supply. Thank you, sponsors. And we'd like to introduce our judge, Drew Boss. Drew Boss is from Dessler, Ohio, where he owns and operates Black Swamp Boars. They maintain 50 does to raise show wethers and commercial does to show on the county, state, and national level. He also helps manage the show and sale cattle for his family's club calf operation, Souter Farms. He is the current alumni advisor for the HER Holiday Classic Cattle Show and formerly was a member of the director committee for the Ohio Cattlemen's Best Series and the Ohio Beef Expo. He's a 2018 graduate of The Ohio State University, where he majored in agribusiness and applied economics and competed on the livestock judging teams. Please give a round of applause for our judge. Class 5 market lambs need to be making their way outside of the arena at this time. These exhibitors are Stacy Arthur, Tegan Tisland, Rowdy Etling, and Caitlin Wolfer. Class 6 market lambs need to be getting ready in the arena at this time. These exhibitors are Rowdy Etling, Reed Etling, and Emma Brandenburg.
difficult top pair, and I think ringside, if you wanted to flip flop these in any order you want, I probably wouldn't argue with you or at least listen to you. I think for me, when we get in and analyze these guys, I think for me the natural is the longer bodied of the two, is the more expressive down its top line, I think is the freshest to the touch. And I think the big difference maker for me, when we analyze this one from its loin working backwards into its hip and down into its hock, this one is more expressive, this one is more powerful and more expressive in that rear leg as compared to our second place one. And I think for me is more expansive and powerful from that shoulder into its forerib, especially from a 3/4 here. I think that one's got more forearm shape. I think that one just got more genuine power as a whole. I don't know if that one is the soundest and most attractive one in this class, especially through its front 1/3. I appreciate the way our second place one's head and neck tie in slightly better as compared to our young man's class winner here. But strictly talking carcass terms, this one is fresher to the touch. This one is bigger topped. I think this one is more opened up in its skeleton, and I think carries more power from the outside of its hip, I think all the way to the ground. Really nice way to lead off this class, a really competitive set of them here. Young lady in second has one that's extremely deep-sided, extremely opened up. You appreciate the look and presence of this one as that one gets out on the move. I like how long-bodied this one is. I think that one's got some feature, and we talked about how elevated that one is through its front 1/3, how attractive that one is in its chest floor, and how opened up it is there. I think for me, we get disappointed again, like I mentioned, from the 3/4. We read that one being super big and opened up in its chest floor. That one wants to tighten up in its forerib there, right behind its shoulder. Not quite as attractive in its transitions there. Not quite as expressive in its rear quarter either. I think maybe that one stands wider, stiffer to stipple, but I don't know if that one carries as much genuine shape as compared to our class winner. Same rings true down that top line. Not quite as wide in that rack shape, not quite as expressive and green in that touch as that one in front of it there, but that's an awfully nice looking one from the profile there. If we could harden that one up to the touch slightly, it'd be a more competitive top pair there, but a really nice way to lead off this class. Compliments to her, she did a good job getting that one shown. Young lady in third has one, I think that's tremendously long-bodied. I like the front end in this one. I like how wide this one appears from the profile and from behind. I think for me that one just gets a little softer to the touch, and if we're going to place the top pair like we do, this one kind of logically falls into third, being one that just needs more touch and expressiveness down its top line. Needs to be greened up in terms of its condition pattern as well. But that one's awfully nice as it gets around the ring. I think that one's extremely sound and functional. You appreciate the lower angles. You appreciate the presentation value of this one. Just wish that one touched a little bit harder to compete with those ones in front of it. Young lady's doing a good job getting that one shown. Young lady rounding out this class has one that's long-bodied, big outlined. I think that one's got a ton of product packed into that one's skeleton as well. I think for me, that one wants to get a little past midnight in terms of its condition, maybe carrying slightly too much flesh as compared to the ones in front of it. Not quite as attractive, and I think that comes with some breed characteristics as well as compared to the ones in front of it there. But the young lady's doing an excellent job getting that one shown to us. Let's give them all a nice round of applause. Really tough top pair to sort through.
Congratulations, class winner Reed Etling. Second place, Elizabeth Hauserman. Third place, Ava Korsmeyer. Fourth place, Jennifer Sullivan. Entering the arena at this time is Market Sheep Class 5. These exhibitors are Stacy Arthur, Tegan Tisland, Rowdy Etling, and Caitlin Wolfer. Judge, this is your class. Class 6 seems to be making their way outside the arena at this time. These exhibitors are Rowdy Etling, Reed Etling, and Emma Brandenburg. Class 7 needs to be getting ready in the barn at this time. These exhibitors are Reed Etling, Carla Evans, Tegan Tisland, and Ava Korsmeyer.
Boy, a really tough class, and I think, in my opinion, all four of them are certainly deserving to be out here and compete for a class win. And I will request that our third place comes back and be eligible for this final drive here if we're placing a top five, because these, in my opinion, are three of the best lambs we've seen all day. I think for me, the young man's up front here is the most fluid and functional out on the move. And if we're to split hairs and talk differences in these top two, I think for me, I prefer the angle of this one's shoulder. I appreciate how elevated this one is through its chest floor and how that one carries some length and expressiveness and I apologize, some attractiveness in through its front 1/3. I think when we get in behind and analyze these animals, the young man up front has the wider of the two. I think is the most opened up in terms of its skeleton. I think is the most expressive in terms of its rib cage, and I think carries the most amount of genuine width down its top line. I think if we're going to be critical on this one, we'd like to change how that one's hip ties into its loin there. If we could hook that one up just a little bit tighter, that's an awesome, awesome lamb. We're just being a little critical on one that maybe gets a little shorter coupled. We could tie that one in just tighter, again, like I said. But boy, that's an awfully attractive one to look at from the profile. I really like that one to lead off this class. Young lady's in second here isn't quite as attractive from the profile. I think maybe does some things with its shoulder blade that we need to correct and maybe change some angles to. We could elevate that one just the way that one's neck ties into its shoulder as compared to our class winner. And I think for me, on that last handle, when we got on top and just reached down that one's top line, that one's not quite as wide at the point of its loin there. That one doesn't quite carry the added edge and shelfness to it as the one that wins this class. Boy, that's an attractively hind-legged one. I appreciate how that one carries so much power and dimension down in the lower portion of its body there. Just not as attractive, not as stout and opened up to the touch as our class winner there. Young man, I apologize to you. That's an awfully good lamb to be standing third at any county fair. I think that one's an awfully attractive one from the profile. That one touches with some power and expressiveness down its top line. I think for me, as compared to its contemporaries that lead off this class, that one's not as stout and opened up as the one that leads off this class. That one's not as attractive and structurally correct, last rib working backwards as compared to our second place there. That one gets a little straighter in terms of the angle of its hock. That one wants to just roll on the outside of its foot ever so slightly if we're being ultra critical on this one. That one just wants to narrow up in its forerib. But boy, that one is extremely attractive. I think probably the one that hit me the hardest in terms of attractiveness, in terms of how that one elevates out of its front shoulder. But for me, the longer this one went on, the more we got our hands on top of this one. Not quite as powerful as that class winner, not quite as expressive as our second place one there, but that's an awfully competitive one. I hope we get to see that one back out here in the drive. I think that one certainly belongs out here for sure. Young lady with the ewe lamb rounding out this class. Again, I apologize to you. That's an awfully good lamb to round out this top four here. I think one that's super competitive, super big bone. I think that one's tremendously stout and powerful. I don't know if we've seen one with as much turn to its rib shape and as uniform from its shoulder into its forerib as anything out here. That thing's deep-sided. I hope that one goes home and into production because that'll be an awfully awesome breeding piece to use on down the road there. Let's give her a nice round of applause as well as the rest of the class for an extremely tough class. Compliments to them, really high-quality group.
Congratulations, class winner Tegan Tislin. Second place, Caitlin Wolfo. Third place, Rowdy Etling. Fourth place, Stacy Arthur. Entering the arena at this time is Class 6 of Market Lambs. These exhibitors are Rowdy Etling, Reed Etling, and Emma Brandenburg. Judge, this is your class. Class 7 Market Lambs needs to be making their way outside the arena at this time. These exhibitors are Reed Etling, Carla Evans, Tegan Tislin, and Ava Korsmeyer. Class 8 of Market Lambs needs to be getting ready in the barn. These exhibitors are AJ Cunningham, Caitlin Wolfer, and Elizabeth Hauserman.
It's nice to have a little bit more logical class, in my opinion, to follow that last one there. And I think young ladies leads this class off pretty handily, in my opinion. I think this one is tremendously big featured. I think one that carries a lot of power, especially into that rear portion of its body. I think for me that one is really opened up in terms of its structure, in terms of its skeleton, and I think that one has the handle to match down its top line. I think for me, if we're to be critical on this one just a little bit, that one wants to roll out in its hock, maybe get a little uncoordinated in the way it uses its rear leg, but when she gets that one to brace up, that one gives you a really cool look from the side. Big rib, big body one. I think that's tremendously opened up. A really nice place to lead off this class. Young Man's here in second brings us one that's tremendously fault-free. I think one that's extremely long-bodied. I think one that's green to the touch. And I think, to be candid with you, is more appropriate in terms of its finish level than the class winner there. More expressive down its top line. You see that ditch and that expressive ridge down the top of its back there. I think one that handles with some power. For me, that one, for all the differences in structure, that one wants to get a little straighter. I think also wants to do a similar thing with its hock, where it wants to just push it out slightly, wants to walk on the outside of its rear hoof there. If we're to clean that one up and structure that one up a little bit, and maybe read that one with a little more growth, as this one wants to get a little bit more moderate in terms of its growth pattern, I think that one could compete with that one in front of it. But again, really appreciate the greenness of that one. Just wish you could maybe change some structural things, get some more attractiveness through its front 1/3 to compete with that one in front of it. Really nice kind of meat and potatoes lamb to round out this top two. Young Man here in third brings us one. I think for the breed he's showing with has a really nice outline one that has some foot and bone and some mass and some power to it. For me, not as expressive down that top line. Again, just gives up some added touch and feel down that one's top line, especially from that 13th working backwards. That one's not as big and wide at the top of its shoulder there. I think for what it is, that thing is a really neat outline one. That one's got a tremendous amount of power and forearm and big foot to it. Compliments to you, a really nice one to round out this top three. Let's give them all a nice round of applause. Really good class there.
Congratulations, class winner Emma Brandenburg. Second place, Reed Etling. Third place, Rowdy Etling. All right. Entering the arena at this time is Class 7 Market Lambs. These exhibitors are Reed Etling, Carla Evans, Tegan Tisland, and Ava Korsmeyer. Judge, this is your class. Class 8 Market Lambs needs to be making their way outside the show arena at this time. These exhibitors are AJ Cunningham, Caitlin Wolfer, and Elizabeth Hauserman. First and second place from all Market Lamb classes need to be getting ready in the barn at this time. These exhibitors are Leah Riley, Lorelei Cunningham, AJ Cunningham, Silas Cunningham, Caitlin Wolfer, Joshua Florence, Reed Etling, Elizabeth Hauserman, Tegan Tisland, Caitlin Wolfer, Emma Brandenburg, Rowdy Etling.
Nice pair of them here to lead off this class, and I don't know if you could get any more opposite in terms of just style of lamb. And I think for me, the one that leads off more suits my style of being extremely attractive from the profile, of being extremely structurally sound, and I think still having enough width and dimension and genuine power and shapeliness to get up here and win this class. I think for me that one is super sound as that one gets out of the move. You appreciate that one's front end and that one's elevatedness, if you will, through its front 1/3 there. When you get on top and handle that one, big racked, I think that one carries a lot of genuine shape to the outside of that one's rib and into its forerib there. I think that one's got some depth aside. I think that one's got some handle through its loin and into its rear quarter there. Is that one as expressive and green as the one that comes in second? I don't think so. I think that one could be stoutened up just from its last rib working backwards. That one could handle slightly fresher as compared to our second place one there. But that's an awfully good one. That one's hard to get around just in terms of design and balance and structure to go ahead and win this class. Young man's in second here. I think from a carcass perspective, this thing does a lot of good things. You see how powerful and expressive that one is down its top line. You really appreciate the rear quarter in that one and how much punch that one has as that one wants to rear up and push into the young man there. You can tell how genuinely powerful that one is. I think for me, we need to clean it up and just put it in a more attractive package. I think that one wants to get a little maybe discombobulated from its hip and into its loin there. I don't know if that one's as attractive through its front 1/3 there as the point of its shoulder. Just wants to reach out over its knee. I think that one's neck wants to get just a nickel shorter as compared to our class winner there. And honestly, that one could use just a shot more condition down its top line, especially as compared to our class winner there. But boy, that thing's awfully green. That thing's awfully powerful. I really appreciate that one in terms of the amount of density that one has. Just wish that one just came in a slightly more attractive package for me today for the young man. Compliments to you for picking an extremely stout one to come in second in this class. Young man here in third, I think, has one that's extremely attractive from the profile. Maybe more models that of our class winner as far as its design. I think a flexible one through its rear two. I think an elevated and attractive one through its front 1/3 there. I think one that handles with enough power to get ahead of this fourth place one. But boy, that one just needs to be opened up as compared to the ones in front of it. Needs to be more expressive in its overall muscle pattern. But a really nice one there to look at from the profile there for the young man. Speckle one that rounds out this class is a long bodied, is an extended one. I think one that's got some good functional pieces to it. As that one gets around the ring, you like the squareness of this one's dock. You like the shape of that one's rear leg and how attractive that one is from the profile. For me, when we get on top and handle that one, just need to be opened up in terms of its skeleton. I think that one needs more expressiveness down its top line, as that one just wants to get a little loose and soft in its hide and its makeup overall. But that's a really attractive one from the profile. Young lady's doing an excellent job getting that one shown and presented to us as well. Really nice way to lead off this class. So let's give them all a nice round of applause.
Congratulations, class winner Ava Korsmeyer. Second place, Reed Etling. Third place, Tegan Tisland. Fourth place, Carla Evans. Entering the arena at this time is Class 8. These exhibitors are AJ Cunningham, Caitlin Wolfer, and Elizabeth Hauserman. Judge, this is your class. All first and second place lambs need to be making their way outside the show arena at this time. These exhibitors are Lorelei Cunningham, Leah Riley, AJ Cunningham, Silas Cunningham, Caitlin Wolfer, Reed Etling, Elizabeth Hauserman, Tegan Tisland, Caitlin Wolfer, Emma Brandenburg, Reed Etling, Ava Korsmeyer, and Reed Etling. Leah Riley, please be making your way outside the show arena at this time. You are needed for the overall drive.
Nice logical class here to round out the Lamb show. I think for me, the one that leads off does so fairly handily, and I think it does so just being the most fluid in terms of its design and its angles. I think the one that's the longest bodied and most expressive and powerful down its top line. You appreciate the front 1/3 of this one, how opened up that one is in its chest floor, and how much power and width that one carries into the lower portion of its leg, and I think stands on the biggest circumference of bone, circumference of foot as well. Really nice square made one to lead off this class here. Awfully difficult here between second and third. I think it gets really competitive, and I think for me when we get up into these heavyweights, the young man's greener touching one. I think the one that's harder to the handle will be the one that kind of leads off this duo here to round out this class. Long-bodied one, has a lot of definition and power down its top line. I think handles with as much width of loin as the class winner there. For me, just wants to fall apart in terms of its overall design and attractiveness there. We could rearrange that one's front 1/3. We could change the angle of that one's shoulder. We could give that one more circumference of foot and bone and forearm there. But that's a really interesting hind leg to that one as well. Just wish that one was just leveler out of its hip to compete with that one in front of it. Really excellent job with the feed bucket on that one there for the young man. Young lady rounding out this class has one that's extremely attractive from the profile, deep-sided, long-bodied. I think has a lot of dimension and spring to its center portion of its body and its rib cage there. I think has an attractive hind leg there. For me, when we get on top and handle this one, just a little softer to the touch. I think we could green this one up in terms of its design, in terms of its handle, in terms of its composition there. But a really nice and sound one to round out this class and this show. Let's give her a nice round of applause as well as those two that came in front of her.
Congratulations, class winner Caitlin Wolfer. Second place, AJ Cunningham. Third place, Elizabeth Hauserman. Entering the arena at this time are your first place winners from classes 1 through 8. These exhibitors are Lorelei Cunningham, AJ Cunningham, Caitlin Wolfer, Reed Etling, Tegan Tisland, Emma Brandenburg, Ava Korsmeyer, and Caitlin Wolfer. Entering the arena at this time are your second place from classes 1 through 8. These exhibitors are Leah Riley, Silas Cunningham, Joshua Florence, Elizabeth Hauserman, Caitlin Wolfer, Reed Etling, and AJ Cunningham. Judge, this is your class. All third place exhibitors need to be getting ready in the barn and be on standby. These exhibitors are Benjamin Florence, Cruz Cunningham, Ava Korsmeyer, Rowdy Etling, Tegan Tisland, and Elizabeth Hauserman. Third place exhibitors, please be on standby. If the second place in your class gets picked, you will need to go into the ring.
Well, let's give a really nice round of applause for all these exhibitors out here in the ring. This is a really competitive group of lambs, and I think the more we sort through them and the more we work them, I think there's some structural differences that somewhat sort themselves out. I think there's some handle issues for me or some handle advantages that somewhat surface to the top here. And I think the more we analyze these guys, I'm extremely comfortable with the 5 that we're going to use. And I think when we work through these guys, there's definitely some differences that maybe more suit my style. And I think a different judge, different day could probably sort them a few different ways, and that's fine. We're not all out here to have the same opinion. If that's how it was, then it wouldn't be fun anymore. And I think that's why I come out here and do this. I really appreciate people reaching out to me and valuing my input and letting me get on the microphone another day. I will never take it for granted, and I appreciate working with the young people. I think it's such a gift to be out here and work with these people and get them to realize what hard work will do for you, what being out in the barn does for a young person. I think it just makes you more successful in life, just knowing hard work, being able to communicate to something that doesn't speak anything similar to what you do, being able just to communicate through touch or through brace and having the patience to deal with these things day in and day out. I know how difficult it is, and we run a goat operation at home and we run some cattle along with it, but I'll be honest with you, the things I like looking at the most are the lambs, and probably because I don't get to look at them at home. I think they're so interesting to look at. There's so many differences in types and kinds and styles out here. And I think along with that, there's one out here that definitely suits my style the best. I'm going to go out and get you a top 5, and I think we're going to use a few of them out here and maybe some that aren't out here right now. So let's give all these guys a nice round of applause. A really excellent group of lambs out here.
Congratulations to our grand champion, Tegan Tislin. Congratulations, reserve champion, Ava Korsmeyer. Congratulations, 3rd overall, Katie Wolfer. Congratulations, 4th overall, Rowdy Etling. Congratulations to our 5th overall, Emma Brandenburg. Thank you for coming. Goat showmanship will begin this afternoon at 2 p.m. I'd like to thank our sponsors one more time: Southern Ohio Equipment Services, Scarlett and Stella Fetters, Howerton Construction, in memory of Regina Howerton, Cherry Fork Feed and Supply, and Wolfer Farms Feed and Supply. Another big thank you to our sponsors. All lamb exhibitors, you have 1 hour to consign your lambs to the sale. You can do so at the sale trailer outside of the barn. They will be open for 1 hour to consign your lambs until 11:47. Thank you.